This is an Ellis Mowers and More small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. On today's repair, we're going to be looking at this Craftsman T2400 lawn tractor. This mower I got in the same lot that I bought an LT1000 from, the one that's painted red. This machine runs, drives, and cuts. The bad thing is on this, it's got that plastic general transmission in it. And the main thing that I can see going on with it is that it's actually leaking out of the axle seals. So I think aside from just cleaning it up, the only thing I'm really going to have to do to this, hopefully, is replace the axle seals on it. It seems like it's driving fine. It doesn't have the foot pedals. It's got the hand lever, which this is the first functioning one that I've had with the hand lever. I had another one of these a while back that was just a parts machine because I didn't have any engine or really anything for it except the transmission in the back, and I'm not pulling a general transmission not knowing if it's good or not. So we'll see if really the only thing I've got to figure out, I got to replace the axle seals. I have the axle seals here. I've got to replace all that, and then I got to drive this thing around to see if it will sustain like all the pull hills and stuff like that. Because of this transmission, this mower's not going to bring what it should. This mower should bring somewhere between $800 and $900, and it's probably going to bring about $7 to $8 because I will not list it and as high because of the plastic general transmission on it. So let me go ahead and show you around the machine. The good news is it looks like this machine had just been fixed or serviced or something like that, because the rest of the machine is actually in really, really good shape. So let's go ahead and I'll show you what it looks like before we get into fixing the axle seals. So we'll get into it now. Again, Craftsman T2400. This is a 2015 model year, and it's got a 19 and a half or just a 19 horsepower Briggs and Stratton on it. So it's really unfortunate because the LT1000s and stuff, like the one I just fixed, the red one, them things will run forever. These right here, you find a lot of times have front end issues, especially the earlier ones. This one's got the turn tight deal on it with the extra tie rods and stuff, so that it's got a little bit wider stance but turns a lot tighter. And then, you know, they put these general transmissions in them, and these are not the most reliable either. They're known for blowing connecting rods and head gaskets. And I think on this one I do have to adjust the valves on it. It's a little bit slow to get over that hump when it starts finally. Somebody tore the sticker off of it, of course, so I don't know what the parts are. And I had to look up some stuff. But 46-inch deck, 2-blade deck. These are known for breaking deck brackets, especially on the left rear, but this one looks to be in really, really good shape, which is good. I imagine this one doesn't have a ton of hours on it just from looking at it. The battery's from last year, but the real issue lies back here, and I don't know how well the light will show y'all, but the axle seals are leaking pretty bad. I'm just going to get a flashlight for y'all so that y'all can see it a little bit better. Right there. You can see it's coated all the way around the wheel. And then this one is doing the same thing on this side. So I don't know how to refill these things. I'm going to have to look that up. But that's the main issue we got to fix on this. I do have the axle seals. They do exist somewhere in this garage. They're actually right here. So I found a 4-pack of them for next to nothing. I know they're the Chinese ones, but you know, if you buy the general ones, they're going to leak too, right? So I think the seals were less than $15. So I'm going to get the mower jacked up back here. We'll do one side at a time. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of research before I do this, just to make sure I don't mess anything up, because there are a few videos out there of this already. So I've removed the wheel, and if you can see the ground right there, that's all the junk that is on that axle right there, which is crazy, just from the seal leaking, which is, you know, the mower's less than 10 years old. There's honestly no reason that this should be the case, but it is. So cleaning it off here. Obviously we've got a little buildup right here that we want to try and clean up around. That's just crazy that these things decided to start oozing out. Super common problem though, apparently. So I've got the new ones right here, and they're going to go in just like so. Got to get the old one out first. A lot of times, if you don't have a seal puller, the best way that I've ever seen is from the Mower Medic. He does it replaces these, or changing seals and stuff out. I think I saw just for a regular like axle seal on a different machine. Self-tap and screw, and then pull it out with some pliers. So that's what I'm going to try to do, see if we're successful. Alright, so we'll see if this works. I've got the self-tap and screw in there. Make sure you don't drill it into the axle or anything. We'll see if we can just pull this bad boy out of here. It's working. Yeah, there we go. So we've got some whatever oil's in this thing. Man, I don't know how to even fill this up. Tempted to turn it on its side and just fill it up through that, just to top it off with some oil. But everything's off now, and then, you know, just oil up your new seal a little bit. Make sure that it's nice and lubricated. We gotta do the left side anyway, so we'll slide this onto the shaft here. That actually kind of went in pretty easily. So that's all there is to it, really. Like I said, hopefully this thing won't be leaking any more oil from it. I don't know where this seal may have failed, but it definitely did not work. So because it was leaking out pretty good. So hopefully this has fixed the issue. I'm going to do the other side. Also research on how to top off this transmission, because I don't want this thing to run dry and have issues. Man, I hope it's not splitting the case open or something like that, or some extravagant thing. If it's anything, because I don't think these things are serviceable, right? So if there's anything that is a consolation here, this is one that has the battery in the back. So the good news is I can take the battery tray out and get up underneath and figure out how to do something here. But I'm going to do a little bit of research. I'm going to do the exact same thing I just did on this side with the other side, and I'll let you know how I fill this thing back up with oil, because I do want to get some more oil back in it. Well, I got the left side done. Couple of notes before we adjust the valves here. The transmission is non-serviceable. Unless you drill a hole into the casing, the polymer casing, there is no way to fill that transmission up. So what I'm going to do is, after I adjust the valves and stuff here, I'm going to take this thing out. I've cleaned around the axle seals. I know I need to clean the machine up as well. But I'm going to take this thing out. I'm going to make sure that it will run properly for me and drive correctly. It looks like the deck. Alright, so I'm in the process of doing the valves here now because it was a little bit hard to kick over when I first got it. Don't know if it was because the battery's a little low, but it sounded like valves. The intake valve's a little bit out. I'm about to do the exhaust valve. Couple of notes I want to make about the transmission seals. I got the other one in, and it was smooth. The transmission is completely sealed. There is no way to add fluid or anything like that, except I have saw on some forums that if you drill a hole in the casing, then you can potentially add fluid that way, and it takes some odd type grease, I guess. But I'll see if I can find the grease for you. Put the links in the description for the seals and the grease. Another thing, I'm going to drive this thing around and see if it'll leak. If it leaks again, I saw that people put RTV around the outside of those seals, and that generally stops the leak. We'll cross that bridge if we have to. But I'm going to do the valves now. Also, I'm going to take this thing out and drive it. As long as it drives fine, I've got some pretty steep uphills in my front yard. Make sure it goes up hills good, then we'll be good. So I'm going to get this to where it is at its full open position. Or the valve is closed anyways. And so we're doing the exhaust valve next. And we'll get my feeler gauges here and my wrenches. This one takes the 5/8. Sometimes you may need the 10 millimeter as opposed to the 5/8. But 0.8. So that's the 0.008. You want it to be about 5 thousandths, so it's more than 8 thousandths. So that would indicate why it was a little bit more difficult to start. But let's push it in a little bit. You just have to take a T20 and open that up, and then a 5/8 and push that nut in. Tighten the T20 up. Let's see, we'll do the 6 thousandths to make sure we're good there. 4 thousandths. I'm a little tight, so let me back it up just a tiny bit. I try and get them both to about 5 thousandths. That's within spec for both valves. One of them's 3 to 5 and the other one's 5 to 7, but well, as Terrell says, it's not the space shuttle. So close is good. I think we're pretty close right there. That's the 5 thousandth. No, I can't squeeze the 6 thousandth in there, so we're good there. I'll put the valve cover back on. I'll level the deck. This side only has, I believe, one side that you can level the deck on. These newer ones. No, this one you can level on both sides. So I'll show you all that real quick. So your deck leveling points are right here, and then on the other side as well. On this machine, just level it right there. I'm going to level it and make sure all the tire pressures are good and take y'all for a ride around. I think we can. I think we're about at the point where we can take this thing out and test it out. So I'm going to bring this thing out. Got it all back together. Deck was pretty much level. It was just maybe like a 1/8 inch off on one side. Blades are coming together nicely in the middle, so that's good. One of the blade brakes is a little bit slow to engage, but that's alright. So, I mean, everything seems alright so far. We'll check the grease seals down here. I think they're still leaking, honestly. Pretty sure this right side one is. So what I'll probably do, ain't gonna lose enough grease in 15-20 minutes of cutting. So I'm gonna cut with it, pull the seals out, put the RTV on it, let it sit overnight, and then tomorrow I'll come out here and hopefully it won't leak anymore. It's kind of unfortunate, but that's just the way it happens sometimes. So I'm going to make sure before I do that the transmission is actually good, and probably give it a good wash and put the seals in it. But yeah, so overall good, runs good. I think we just got to get a little bit of, got to get it running a little bit. Y'all know how these newer Briggs can be sometimes. I'll cut some with it, and we'll see what ends up happening here. So I'm known to be very liberal with the RTV. So what I did is I pulled this seal out, cleaned everything around it, put it around the outside of the seal. Not like this is just the residual, but the actual outside of the seal, the circumference of it. Stuck it back in. I've got everything jacked up. There's really no way for me to prevent the grease to try and come out, so I just kind of gave it a good layer and let it dry overnight, maybe the next day as well. I'm going to do that to the other side. We'll see what happens, y'all. The new seals did not do anything, so it's, you know, it's just, I guess it's just a really bad either transmission design, which you know that, but the seal design too. Again, you can just see the amount of grease that's caked around the wheel here. But it's, I mean, it's some, but it's not like an ungodly amount or a crazy amount. So, like I said, I'm going to let this sit overnight. Tomorrow afternoon, I'll break it out, drive it around, let it, you know, after the RTV is set for about 24 hours. See if we got any leaks. I want to make sure it pulls good. And if it does do that, then I would feel at least as comfortable as I can selling a machine with one of these transmissions. I would put a hydro in it, but the issue with that is you have to take the whole back plate off here, find a back plate that works, and these are not bolted, they're welded in, so that's even more fun. So I'm going to see if this will work. It's just residual from where it had leaked a little earlier, and we'll report back to y'all. So y'all saw it running, driving, and cutting. We just need to make sure that it's not leaking anymore. Well, I got it out, drove it. It drives fine in forward, but it will not go in reverse. It's like, these transmissions, it's almost like a two-stage, and it almost feels like the faster stage isn't working on this. When I put it in reverse, it will go in reverse. When I try and pull a hill in reverse, it won't. It will go forward up a hill. So one of the things, I think it's a couple of possibilities here. I'm not sure which one it is exactly, but what I think it is, because I pull, I can't really get y'all down there, but I pull this, I guess it's like two Variator pulleys. That pulley right there, I pull it up and down and it moves. This one does not though, so I'm wondering if something's locked up on this pulley right here that's not allowing it to go up and down. I know y'all can't see what I'm doing here currently, but it seems like it's locked in place. This one, the one in the front, moves up and down. So I'm tempted, this back pulley here, right there, I'm tempted to take that off. It looks like it's just like a 3/4, and Just got to get the belt and stuff off, which doesn't look too difficult, and pull it out of here and see what it's like. So I'm going to get a nut to take that off, or a socket to take that off, pull that rear belt off right there, and then I'm going to pull this pulley up to see why it's not moving up and down, because it feels like it should, because there's a little collar underneath there and a bearing. And so, because this appears to be working correctly, moving up and down, so, and it doesn't look like it's missing anything. So this is a little bit different than the D105 John Deere I'm looking at back here, which I've got to also do work on for a guy. I'm going to pull this pulley up, see what may be going on with it. Alright, so it's literally a nut and 4 screws to get that off. I do want to show you, so didn't realize that this is how all this works, but you see all this junk? See all that junk in there? I'm wondering if some debris has gotten caught up in there and it's not allowing everything to work like it's supposed to. So what I'm going to do, grab me a vacuum cleaner, vacuum all this out, kind of scrape it all out before I put this back in to its spot, lube everything up. Hopefully that will make it drive a little bit better. I'm wondering if it's just getting kind of caught up in that junk right there and not wanting to drive very well. So I'm going to take care of that, get all this cleaned up a little bit, and hopefully that will allow us to work this a little bit better, and that it'll drive correctly. Now in terms of the belt seems a little small, almost like it's been worn down a little bit, and that's possible. So if this doesn't work, I might try and put a Variator belt on it to see if that fixes it. But first order of business is to just get all this as clean as possible down here. So hopefully we can get everything working like it's supposed to again. Well, I believe I got it driving better now, and I wanted to show you all. I took the battery back out just to show you all though. Getting down in here, oh, there's a chunk missing out of that Variator belt. That's crazy. That may be part of my problem. I'll have to order one of them. You see that right there? That's kind of crazy. I didn't see that earlier. Anyways, man, that's crazy. So what I did is, yeah, that belt is actually cracked in a lot of places, believe it or not. So I should have seen that earlier. So I guess we'll be replacing this Variator belt, which isn't too bad. But this piece right here, I would almost recommend leaving the nut partially threaded on there, because it is a little bit of a mishmash to get back correct. I'm going to do my best to explain how to, if it comes apart, how to put it all back together, because it all just kind of goes in these arms here. And so we put them in those arms, and we putting the pulley back on. What is it? I put the bearing first. There's a little washer after that, and then I believe the top part of the bottom pulley here for the Variator belt, followed by the there's like a little washer, like a tapered washer almost, that's pretty thick, that has a bigger hole in it. You put that on next with the small side facing up, followed by this pulley right here, or no, excuse me, followed by the bracket with the bearing, and then the next pulley with the small side down so that it fits up against the bearing, followed by this pulley. I know that's difficult to explain, but I'm not taking it back apart. So we're missing a chunk out of the belt right there. It looks like we've got some cracks in it. I'm going to look at that a little bit more. We'll replace that here in a minute. I will have to take those T20, I think they're T25s off one more time to get that off, and then hopefully we'll be good to go. It is pulling in reverse now, which is good. I did not notice that chunk missing off of the belt earlier, which is kind of weird. But I do want to go ahead and cut grass with it, because I think I can get it to drive for the amount of time I need to. It is pulling stronger in reverse. What I did is that nut right there that you see on the center of the screen, you see some shiny threads. I ended up tightening that up a little bit. This thing does not drive very fast forward, but it will drive in reverse pretty good. So, and it pulls hills in both forward and reverse, so that is a huge plus. So I guess I'll take this thing out. I'll go ahead and clean it up as well, and just wait on this Variator belt to come in so that we can put it in this transmission. Alright, so that belt has about to come in. I actually don't think it has. I thought I had it already, but it's coming. I wanted to show y'all how to change this, because you just gotta I can't get y'all down here while I'm changing it, just because my hands will be in the way. So basically what we have already done to clean everything out here, and you know, take that nut off right there. I think that's like a 7/8 or a 15/16 or something, and take those 4 screws off the side there. They're like T25 Torx. Get that off, that gets your belt off, and you're good to go after that. So I gotta get that belt changed out. I'll show you the new belt. Hopefully after we do that, we'll have a good running, driving machine that should be worth a decent amount of money. I've ordered what I believe to be the correct belt, and look at the difference in thickness here between the one that's been on here and the one that I'm about to put on. So hopefully everything's alright with it. You can see where it chewed out some teeth right here at some point. So I'll get this one on, and we'll see if it drives any better, if this one's the correct one. Hopefully it is. So I got the belt on, and it makes a world of difference, I do have to say, which is a good thing. Really nice. The things I have left to do, and pardon, I don't have any light in the garage right now because my electrical service is getting changed out from breakers, or excuse me, from fuses to breakers. I need to put a deck belt on this, which isn't going to be too bad. It's just this pulley, your 2 middle pulleys, your 2 outer pulleys. You have to take these covers off. Well, you don't necessarily have to get it off, but yeah, you actually have to. So just take them covers off and take this belt off, put it on. I'll put links in the description for the belts needed for this. I am going to sharpen the blades and make sure that the deck is level. All I do there is get the deck at the highest position, get a couple of oil filters. I slide up under there. Usually I get them right on the top of the SuperTech diamond is where they need to go, or maybe just above the top of the box. I make sure they're even on both sides and put them back together. Since the light is fading, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can finish this up very quickly, and hopefully get some pictures of this thing before it gets too dark. Actually, I'm gonna cut with it a little bit tomorrow, just to make sure that transmission belt holds for what we need it to hold for before we really do get this thing out of here. So let me take care of all of those little things, run it around the yard a little bit in the morning, and hopefully after that we'll be ready to go with this machine. Alright, well, I'm down here in the mower graveyard because we're running out of light. Don't have any power at the house, but I still want to show you, you don't need power to finish your lawnmower repairs, I guess. Shined it up a little bit, looks good. Everything looks good on the machine. The deck was level. The tires hold air. I mean, whoever had this took pretty good care of it. it just ate that CVT belt, or it was time to change the CVT belt out on it, but that was it. It drives much better. I can't really show what it looks like on camera, but it drives much better. I put the new deck belt on it. It's ready to go. So I'm honestly ready to list this thing for sale, get it out of here, because I think it's ready. So I'm gonna just drive around this little area here just to show y'all how well it drives and how well it cuts now. We're good, y'all. Wore the belt in. Belt looks good. It's not wearing just after the couple minutes. The other one, I think, was just a cheap generic knockoff, and it may have got stressed or something and it was starting to come apart, but that was it. I didn't even have to clean the headlight lenses on this thing. It was actually so clean when I got it. So what do we got? The only real issue, and I don't think there's any way for me to get around it because I've lubed it and cleaned it as good as I could, is mostly the reverse to forward motion. You kind of have to push the brake a little bit and before you put it in forward, otherwise it really tries to jerk. There is no smoothness about these general transmissions. So it's just kind of one of those things. And the lever operated, I thought it'd be a little bit better than the foot pedals. Not really, because it wants to fight you going backwards. You have to hold it going backwards, and then it tries to fight you going back. But going forward, you can leave it and be fine. But for them to try and market this as the same basically as a hydrostatic, I don't know how they marketed it, but unsuspecting buyers would think that this is a hydrostatic until they got some hours on it, and maybe even not that many hours, and realize that it's one of these plastic transmissions. Realistically though, with how nice this mower is, even though it's got the plastic transmission on it, I put the new belt on it, CVT belt. It drives so much faster now, and it pulls hills like it's supposed to. The deck is in great shape. The mower overall is in great shape. So I'm going to put this thing up for $850. Hopefully I'll get $850 out of it, or hopefully I'll at least get $800 out of it. that would essentially double my money on the lot that I bought. Plus I've got the LT1000 that I got as part of a lot. That same lot that only paid $400 for. So we're making a few $100s easily here with only just a minor amount of parts. I do apologize, I can't really show y'all how to replace that CVT belt very well, and just the lighting situation that I have right now, since I'm getting my electrical service changed out, and I'd like to move on this as soon as I can. So we'll see what this ends up bringing. But super nice machine overall. I just wish it didn't have that plastic transmission. And other than that, though, this thing's ready to roll. So I do appreciate y'all watching this video. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. I know we have done a ton of Craftsman mowers here over the past few weeks. Hopefully we'll get into doing some different stuff here before long. We just finished the John Deere D105. I wanted to show you off with a driven pulley. And then what is next? I don't know. We'll see what we can pull into the garage. I've got some other customer repairs that I really need, long-term repairs that I really need to get on and get after as well. But for now, we're done with this T2400. Watch out for the general transmissions. If it's driving slow, not pulling hills, try and put one of them CVT belts on there and see if it makes a difference. It made a huge difference on this. And I feel a little bit more better about selling it to somebody, given that it is driving and pulling hills a lot better than it did when I first got it in the other week. So I do appreciate y'all watching. Thanks as always for supporting the channel, and I will catch y'all on the next video.